Hi, it's Kevin Lobates here, and today I want to talk about NFTs and utility. The idea here is that if you have a non-fungible token on a blockchain, then you can do a lot more with it than just have it point to an image on a web server or on the IPFS. Those kind of NFTs are effectively collectibles, the digital equivalent of baseball cards, and that's perfectly well and good in itself. There are plenty of people who like to collect baseball cards, and they are, well, some of them are worth a fortune. And similarly, in the NFT art world, there are plenty of NFTs that are worth a fortune. However, there is so much more that can be done with NFTs than just providing ownership of a link to an image, and not even the actual image itself. And that is where the concept of NFTs with utilities comes in. You can create an NFT that then has a clearly defined owner, and then you can set up systems that give the particular owner of that NFT the right to do stuff that other people don't have. So, for example, you can have a Discord server where if you hold an NFT, then you can log into a special members only section and have discussions about that NFT and the other ones in the group with the people who are also holders of the NFT. That's a very simple application of NFTs with utility, and you already see that in the world of collectible NFTs or art NFTs. Similarly, if you implement in-game items as NFTs, then you can have the situation where people can trade items that they have managed to obtain within a game outside of the game platform. And that has some disadvantages as far as traditional game companies are concerned, because it removes some of the control that they have. But on the plus side, it's better for the user, because that means that when they own the item, they definitely and distinctly own it, and it can't be taken off them by the game company. And there are plenty of examples where game companies have decided to shut down people's accounts, and they've lost all the digital items that they have managed to amass over time. However, one of the things you have to realize is that although an NFT is stored in a decentralized manner, which means that your ownership of the NFT, provided you look after your private keys, is guaranteed, what is not guaranteed is that your NFT will continue to have the special attributes or the special powers that it grants you within a particular game platform, if that game platform is a centralized one, which of course, generally speaking, it will be. So you may have an NFT that represents a very, very special magic sword or a super powerful rifle, but there's nothing stopping the people running the game servers from blocking that particular NFT from having its special ability at some point in the future. And this is where Web 2 interfaces with Web 3, some would say probably rather badly, in that the utility of an NFT as implemented on a centralized platform is going to be as ephemeral and transient as other Web 2 stuff. So definitely worth keeping in mind. However, on the flip side, what could happen in the future is that these NFTs with utility have extra utility added to them by other parties later down the line. And this means that you may get an NFT in one game that represents a magic sword, and you may find that when you go to another game, that the game designers have decided to co-opt those NFTs and actually allow them to have utility and functionality in their game too. And I think this is quite an interesting application of NFTs, in that it would allow new game designers to kind of leverage the acceptance that a particular set of NFTs have gained within one game into their own game, for the benefit of course, these new game designers and also the people who own those NFTs in the first place. So it kind of makes everything a bit more open and shared. However, one thing to keep in mind is that it does require a new mindset on the part of games companies. And again, traditionally speaking, companies like to have control. They like to they don't like other people wandering in and taking advantage of their systems, because at the moment they haven't got the mindset that allows them to see the greater benefits that this would entail further down the line. Anyway, just some thoughts about NFTs with utility. Now, note that I've talked in particular about games here. I've used that because it's a neat example to illustrate some of the points that I'm making. However, there are, of course, a lot of other applications that these NFTs could have, not just in games. It could have something to do with recording qualifications or diplomas that you've received. They might be usable for specific access to particular digital services, and could be offered out as rewards by companies if you have used their service for a long time, as a way of saying thank you to those users. And this could apply to anything from cloud computing to online image processing to, well, you basically think of any kind of software as a service thing and you could tack them onto that. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up here because I've gone on for quite a while and I could talk for hours and hours on this kind of thing, but I try to keep these videos short and with only one point. So that's it for today. Hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you in the next video soon. Bye for now.